All right, good afternoon, boys and girls. It's wonderful to be with you, and I'm going to welcome you to the absolutely fascinating world of collecting. First of all, thank you to Auntie Jessica, because that was a wonderful session that she has just done. Now, I hope you're going to find a world of interest in collecting. I don't know if you can see my picture on the screen or not, but I've got my magnifying glass. Now here's me, there I am, wearing the scarf, Pastor NJ. Wearing the scarf. Now, I need to share something here. This is a tartan scarf, isn't it, Pastor NJ?
Yes, it is.
Now, your question for you, Pastor NJ, which I know you will know, which tartan is the scarf made of?
Is it the Black Watch?
Yes, it is indeed. Now, here's a question for the boys and girls. We're going to learn about collecting many things. You could learn to collect tartans because there are many tartans. And if you come from Scotland, you will see tartans. Now, let me ask you a question, boys and girls, and you can answer this on the chat. How many tartans do you think there are in the world? Now, I'll give you 3 numbers. I'm going to say them, so you've got to listen. Are there more than 300? Are there more than 1,000? Or are there more than 3,000 tartans in the world?
Okay, so let's get the charts going, boys and girls. How many tartans do you think there are? Are they more than?
More than 300,
300,
1,000, or 3,000.
Okay, so we have some guys who think it's more than 1,000, says Jeremiah. It's more than, Alpha thinks it's more than 3,000. And Carice thinks it's, well, that's an interesting number, 1,647. That's quite an interesting number.
That's a good number. Well, I think you're all right because it's more than, but it's more than 3,000. They actually believe there's between 3,500 and 7,000 tartans.
Tartans.
Yes. And I'm told that there are 150 new tartan designs every year.
Whoa.
So some of you might like to collect tartans. Now, I don't know if you can see my picture, but in the where I live in Crieff, we have a tartan shop, and I bought this cap from the tartan shop. I was wearing it last year at the Pathfinder Camporee, and can you see the tartan on the front?
Yes.
So you can collect tartans. In fact, Pastor Diane, next time you come up to Scotland, I will get you a cap with a tartan.
Wow! There you go, Dan. You already have a cap. You don't have to ask anymore.
I'm just waiting for Scotland to unlock, and I'm coming up. Pastor Paul and Pastor Andy, just in a few words, what is tartan? Because some viewers are not familiar with that term. So just in a few words, what tartan is.
Yes, that's a good question. Well done. The tartan is very special to Scotland, and it's multicolored. And you will see a lot of people in Scotland wearing kilts, and you will have tartan scarves, tartan kilts, and it's a special way of making the fabric, and it is called the tartan. If you Google it, you will find out more about tartans. Next year, we have a physical camporee. Where, Pastor Diane? Where will the BUC camporee?
All right, so the BUC camporee is in Scotland.
I will buy you a tartan cap.
That is lovely. By the way, Jessica, who was with us right now, she has the McKinnon tartan. So the McKinnon and Davison, those are the tartans for her clan.
There are many, and one of the most favorites is the Royal Stuart, but you can get many, many, many different tartans. So you might want to start collecting, but let me go on because we've got so much to look at. And I suspect many of you already collect. Now, the Adventure Awards, did you know there are 5 different categories? There's household arts, nature, recreation, spiritual, and arts and crafts. Now let me look with my magnifying glass. Auntie Jessica was teaching the prayer award. Which category do you think the prayer award came from? Can anyone tell us? You can put it on chat. Which of the categories? Has anyone got it? Pastor NJ, you're muted.
Let's see the guys who are on Facebook, what they're saying. Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. But Ugo has given us an answer here. So has Sarah, that it's the spiritual. And Lunta as well says spiritual.
Correct. You're correct. Now, which category does the Collector Award come from? It's for the Sunbeams, or anyone can take it, but it's in the Sunbeam curriculum. Is it household arts, nature, recreation, spiritual, or arts and crafts? What do you think?
We'll give this one to the guys on Facebook, to be fair. And so let's hear collectors. Which category do you think that comes from? Okay, boys and girls, tells us you know the categories because you've been doing these honors and these awards, for a long time now. And tell us, Bello.
Ozzy thinks spiritual.
Ozzy thinks it's spiritual.
Darlene also thinks it's spiritual.
Darlene?
Yeah.
Okay. She thinks it's spiritual as well.
Tawonga says household arts.
Tawonga thinks it's household arts.
So it's a tricky question, isn't it?
Giovanni thinks it's nature.
Giovanni thinks it's nature. Oh, so this is interesting.
Well done. Well done. It actually, do you want me to tell you? It actually is one of the 23 Recreation Awards.
So it's recreation.
Yes. And it's one that I'm going to teach you and share with you what you can do to take part as a collector. Now, there are requirements. So let me show you what these requirements are. And there's a worksheet, and the worksheet will be on the BUC webpage. And also, I will refer to it at the end. You've got to find out during this presentation what a collector does. What does a collector do? And then number 2, you've got to name 5 popular things that people collect. And my guess is you already collect things. Then number 3, you've got to make 2 different personal collections with at least 20 items, like stamps, postcards, coins, or nature objects, leaves, rocks, feathers. Could be tartan, couldn't it? There is another option. You could just make 1 personal collection of objects, and then as a group, do the second one as a group, and then you could hold a little collector's display amongst your friends. So that's what you've got to do. And finally, you've got to explain or show people something you've learned about in one of your collections. Now, I'm going to give you plenty of ideas as we go through this. I collect certain things myself, and you will collect others. I'll tell you what kids collect, and I'll show you what Pathfinders and Adventurers can collect, because as Pastor NJ knows, we have been to many camps, and I've collected a whole number of things from these camps. All right, the first thing you've got to learn, what does a collector do? Well, a collector is a person who collects certain things, usually as a hobby, and this includes gathering them in and learning about them. So you collect, you gather in, and you learn about them. And in the picture, there's a whole lot of teddy bears there. And my children, when they were young, they collected, they're girls, by the way, they collected teddy bears, and they used to have these TY, I don't know if they still do them, but the TY stuffed animals that they would collect. There's absolutely no limit to what you can collect. And the most interesting thing is collecting is fun. Now, how many of you already collect something? If you collect something, put your thumbs up in front of the screen. If you've got a collection of anything at home. Pastor NJ, do you collect anything?
Well, I used to collect some music albums some time ago in my past life, but that kind of went out through the window. I love to collect those in my younger days. But I was going to be asking that question, what kind of things can people be collecting which is listed as a collector? And I'm happy that you have done that. And so we'll hear from the boys and girls what they have put down here for collectors. I mean, as we wait for the boys and girls, especially those who are joining us on Facebook, I do collect a lot of scarves. If we go camping, as you know, Paul, you probably have quite a number yourself, do you?
I do. I will show you some.
Oh, okay.
That's one of my collections, well over 20. I have lots at home, all different countries. You see,
that's very good.
How many put up their thumbs? How many, NJ, can you see how many have got thumbs up?
Well, what they've got is the different things that they actually collect. So let me just read some of those to you. Let me start with Bello. If Bello can give us those that she is reading from Facebook.
Amu says she collects teddy bears.
Teddy bears from Amu.
Denise, board games and postcards.
Board games and postcards. And Diamond tells us stones. And Martin or Mayton says he collects, he or she collects pebbles. Oh. And Faith collects things. Okay, that's an interesting one. There's somebody who collects fruits as well, games, handbags, and rocks and coins, crystals, different water. That's an interesting one.
You see, there's so much, isn't there? Now, Pastor Dayan, are you there? Do you collect anything?
I used to collect old money, so from different countries. So that was my collection.
Yeah, foreign coins.
Yes, yeah. That's right.
I'm a coin collector. I'll tell you more about it in a little while. I've just given you a list of some things that people collect: coins, stamps, cards, pins or scarves. We'll come on to that. Model cars. I bet you some of the boys here collect model cars. Dolls. I used to bring my children home a doll from, they're girls, as I said, from every country I went to. I would bring them home a doll in a different costume. All right.
Wow.
Rosettes, rocks or shells. Bible Expo. You could collect Bibles, versions of Bibles, the oldest Bible you can find. Ask your mum and dad and the church members. And then we will talk more about nature things you can collect. You've just got to list 5, just 5 on your worksheet. And in your own collection, you've got to have a collection of more than 20. All right, and I will explain as we go through how you do this. All right, for a Sabbath afternoon, one activity you could do is an alphabet A to Z hike. Now, I watched, or I know that Auntie Jessica and Uncle, her husband yesterday, Gabriel, they did an alphabet walk, didn't they? A hike. Well, it was a hike, virtual hike. Well, you could go out collecting and try and collect something with each letter of the alphabet. So A is apple. You could try and pick up an apple. If it's in somebody else's tree, you need permission, by the way. You could look for bugs. And I think there's a ladybug honor, if I'm aware. And with a bug box, you could collect little bugs. You could look for C. I put a carnation there. But you could look to see what can I find for each letter of the alphabet. And you may have to add a few extra things in to actually make A to Z. But it suddenly makes a hike really interesting because you're looking, and you're looking with your magnifying glass. All right, A to Z, Bible names. How about having a scrapbook with Bible names? and collecting them again from A to Z. All right, your first question. Who is that in the picture that you see? Put on your chat now. Who do you think I've put a picture of? What do you think? Who is it be? What he's carrying is the clue, because he's carrying 2 stone tablets. Anyone got an idea who that could be?
Well, these guys are obviously Bible students, Pastor Paul, because they've just given all of them are saying the same name.
Yes.
And it starts with an M.
I've got-
Moses.
All right, well done, boys and girls. Now, let me make it harder for you. Let's take the letters of the alphabet, and I've just given you up to J there. Your task would be, if you were doing this as a collection, to have a scrapbook and have all the pages from A to Z, and then you would have a page for A, a page for B, a page for C, and you would put in things about the person. Now, I've given you A is Adam, B, you could have many, but I've given Barnabas, C is Caleb, D is Deborah, E is Elizabeth, but you could choose others. F, now I struggled with F, so I put in fisherman. I don't know if you would think of anybody else under F. G, I've got Gideon, H, Herod, I, Isaac, J, you could have Joshua, I have given Jesus. Now, your task would be to go from there down to Z. Now, it's fairly easy because you get J and K, and let me see what names you would come up with K. Anyone, you could use King, somebody, you could do that, but can anyone think of a name beginning with K that they would put down on their list? So on the chat, what Ks would you use?
Okay, so examples of Bible names beginning with K. What names would you have? Okay, so let's just stick to K, boys and girls, and we'll see if we get anything from those who are joining us on Facebook. We did say you can say King, and so we are getting King Solomon, King Cyrus, King David as some of the answers. We haven't yet got a name that begins with K yet. Do you have anything on Facebook?
That's one to work on.
Okay, we've got Kish.
Ah, that's the name I had. That's the name I had, Pastor NJ.
Okay,
Yes.
and Cora.
Oh,
They've gone
yes.
an extra.
For a data than about, yes, very good. All right, now some of the letters are harder than others. If I had L, I could give Lazarus or Leah. M, you've given me Moses. N, or I would do Noah, wouldn't you, from the ark? I think we would have Noah there. How about O? That's a harder one, isn't it? O. I wonder what O's you would find. For P, I've got Paul, and Q. Q. Now, O or Q, last two, who can come up with an O, or you could use a queen, I'll give you that. All right.
You've been given quite a number, Pastor Paul, with O.
All right.
But I'll just wait on the guys on Facebook to catch up so they too can interact with us here. Okay, so Bello, do you want to give us any with letter O? Okay. Shall we give them and be patient with them, those who are with letter O?
O is a hard one.
So we've got Obed.
Yes, Obed, good.
And here on Zoom, we've got Obadiah. We've got Orpha.
Yes.
And we even have Obil. I'm not quite sure if I know Obil.
I've got Othniel.
Okay. Hey, Othniel. We've got, which other one in O? Omar.
All right.
Okay, so we've got a few here that have been
Well, let's
suggested.
go to Q. Now this is a hard one, Q. You might have to use a queen. You could use the Queen of Sheba. All right. But can you think of any other queen? Now, this is the hardest question you're going to get. In the days when Mary and Joseph had to go and they had to move from where they lived, and do you remember where Jesus was born? They went down to Bethlehem because there was a census, and it was in the time of somebody whose name was Q. Does anyone know who that was? It's a hard question.
Okay, so it's so hard that I can't even repeat it. Does anyone know who was reigning in the time when Joseph and Mary had to go down in the time for the census? Is that
This
it?
is your Bible trivia. He was the governor of Syria. You can find it in Luke chapter 2 and verse 2, if any of you want to look it up very quickly.
Okay, so letter Q. Okay, we've got an answer here. We have an answer, but let's not spoil it for those on Facebook. I think they're just getting it right now with the time lag. Okay, Velo, do you have any on Facebook who are giving us that? Okay, so I'll give you what I have here on Zoom, which is, well, let me just read it as they have put it. Quirinius. Quirinius.
Correct. Well done. Whoever put that, go to top of the class. Excellent answer. It could be Quirinius or Quirinius, we're not sure. But he was the governor of Syria. And
So that's Kaylee Msekiwa. You've given us that one. Well done, Kaylee.
All right. Now, in constraints of time, I won't go all the way through, but let's see if you could, in the rest of your free time, get down to Z. You may have trouble with W, you may have trouble with X, and you may have trouble with Y. All right, they're going to be the tricky ones. But for W, I put the wise men, but there is another name you can find. All right. Okay, but that could be fun, and you could have a collection, and then you could write things about Adam, and you could draw a picture of Adam. You could find things to put in your scrapbook about Adam, and there you would have more than 20 names. All right, let me go on. Did you know that people who collect, there are funny names given? Because if you collect teddy bears, and I suspect some of the girls here collect teddy bears, did you know you would be an arctophilist? Isn't that a funny name? An arctophilist. Now, if you collected books, you would be a bibliophilist. And I know that because I think in French, a library is called a bibliothèque, if I am correct. So biblio and Bible, you have there, a Bible is a collection of books. They're spiritual books. There you will see shelves, which is a conchologist. Postcards is a deltiologist. Now, I collect coins, and therefore I'm a numismatist. If you collect stamps, you're a philatelist. And dolls, oh, that's a long name, a plangeologist. And you will see all the ologists come in at the end. Oh, lots of names, aren't there? You can look them up and you can find what they are. Now, people collect everything and anything. I found this as a trivia, but there is a lady called Carol Vaughan, who's age 65 from Birmingham in the UK. She has a collection, an impressive collection of more than 5,000 bars of soap from all over the world. How about that? 5,000, I don't know where she puts them, quite honestly, but 5,000 bars of soap. Some famous people collect things too. Now, you may or may not have heard of some of these names, but there you will see an actress, Angelina Jolie, or is she a musician? Anyway, she collects antique knives. Somebody said they collected board games. Well, Quentin Tarantino collects board games. You will find that the picture there of dolls, Demi Moore, who's an actress, she collects those. Janet Jackson, pig figurines, and Elton John. Now, he's probably a bit old now, but he used to collect sunglasses. That was something he collected. But do you know what kids collect? Here's a list of the top things that kids collect. Lego was number one. Now, how many of you have a Lego set at home? How many? If you've got a Lego set, put your thumbs up, give us a hands up. how many have Lego? Because that's a very popular thing to collect.
I see some thumbs up here for Lego.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done. The list here is Lego, toy cars, Barbie dolls. I think they're a bit out now. Stuffed animals, movies, children's Disney movies, coins or cash. That's myself and Pastor Diane. Cards used to be postcards, but people don't send so many now. Nintendo memorabilia. And then number 10 came in squishes. And I had no idea what a squishy was. And the picture on the right came out of a list of squishes. So I can only think they're small little sort of animals or something like that. Does anyone collect squishes? Anyone got one that's listening?
I can't see any thumbs up, but we'll wait for the answers here. But I'm a little disappointed, Pastor Paul.
Yeah.
Nobody corrects vinyl records like I used to do.
No, Pastor NJ, you're a thing of the past, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah, it must be a dinosaur then.
All right, well, let me tell you something about number 1, in case you want to collect Lego. Did you know there is a famous Legoland in Denmark? I have been right by it there in Legoland. And there's also one in England. There's one near where we studied, Pastor NJ. Do you know where it is?
Yes, I do. I mean, what's the location you mean?
Yeah, it's near Windsor, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's
Yes,
near
it is.
Windsor.
I know another one, Pastor Paul, which is in Berlin.
Oh, okay. There's more
Yeah.
in countries. I think in Manchester there is a Lego exhibition, if I'm right. But in different countries, you can collect or find all these wonderful things made of Lego. Now, let me tell you some facts about Lego, some interesting facts. The founder's name was Ole Kirk Christiansen. And did you know he created the name Lego? And I bet we didn't know this, from taking the first 2 letters of the Danish words leg and got, which means play well. Did anyone know that? Well, you've learnt something new. When was the first Lego brick actually produced? And it's 50 years ago. So, Pastor NJ, I think it's before you were born.
Yes, it is.
But not before I was born.
You're giving us away, because earlier on you also mentioned something you used to bring for your girls, which was telling us a lot about your age.
Yes, quite. All right, well, the bricks were made back in 1958, the first Lego brick, over 50 years ago. And did you know if you made your Lego bricks end to end, the number sold in a year would reach more than 5 times round the world? Wow.
Wow.
So you could start collecting Lego. Here, I've got to move on quickly. The little figures that Lego have, all right, there are over 4 billion in the world. And they say, and I can't prove it, on average, there are 80 Lego bricks for every person on Earth. And that definitely is a wow. Now, let me come on to Pathfinders and adventurers. We love camps, don't we, boys and girls? You love going to camp, and I'm so proud of Pastor NJ and Matoko and David, Pastor David, who've put on this e-camp. We couldn't meet physically, but what a camp it's been. And thank you very much, Pastor NJ and Matoko and David.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Just to explain to those who are watching from other places, we have our very first e-camporee, as Pastor Dan revealed the other day, that is the very first in the Union. And we are showing actually right on Facebook, for those who are following from the British Union Facebook page, you can follow us from 6:30 p.m. This evening. We'll be back on. And the rest of those who are joining on Zoom have the login details. But if you are not one of those, you can follow us on Facebook and on the Scottish Mission Facebook page as well, Pathfinder Facebook page. Thank you for referring to that.
Thank you, Pastor NJ. Now, this is a picture taken last year at the big camporee in England, which was the TED camporee. You can see I'm wearing my tartan cap, and there's a picture with two friends at the camp. And you can see Warren, the man on the left as you look, he's wearing his sash, and look at the number of honors he's collected. You see, as a Pathfinder, you can collect so many things. Now, Pastor NJ, you said you've got a collection of scarves. Well, I've just given you a picture there of some of the scarves that I actually have, and I've got plenty.
Oh.
The one on the left is my very first Master Guide scarf. I've got a Dutch scarf in the middle. On the right-hand side, that's an Albanian scarf. And at the end of camps, you sometimes get people coming up to you wanting you to collect and swap their scarf. Has that happened to you?
Yes, it has.
All right. Well, I've got a collection here. I've got one from Albania. Top one, it's two. I need my magnifying glass to read the writing, but it's actually from Poland. I had one from Israel and I couldn't find it, and I believe I swapped it with somebody. But I've got them from all Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Estonia, Latvia, Germany, all over the place. I've got scarves from. And that's something unique. And I can guarantee you that somebody will want to collect your Scottish or Welsh scarves.
Oh, yes.
They're very
one of the most popular.
Yeah, they're very good. So I've got this collection, Pastor NJ. But you can collect other things. How about badges? Did you know that you can have badges for each camporee you attend? And Pastor NJ, there's a badge for this camp, isn't there?
Yes, there is. It's a very interesting one that we not long sourced. And actually, I just had it here, but I'll show it another time, I guess.
It's on the PowerPoint, Pastor NJ, at the bottom. I think it's the Ark of Hope badge.
Oh, yes, you put it here. Oh, this is excellent, Paul.
There you go.
Yes, that's the Ark of Hope. And you can get this one on the BUC shop within the next 2 weeks. And you can keep checking there. You can buy yours for the Ark of Hope camporee. Excellent.
Do any of the children already have badges from camps? Have any of you got them? Because they all come from different, now mine are showing my age, Pastor NJ. They go back a long way. They really do. There's one there going back, I think into the 70s. But you can collect your badges as well and display them. It would be very interesting. And you could say, I was there. And you tell everybody about what happened at that camp and the E-camp that you've just been to. Now, I've got to move on quickly. But how about pins? Now, this really, pins and badges more come from the Americas. But we've started collecting them, I think, Pastor NJ. And if you go to the big camp in America, and does anyone know what the name of the biggest camp in the World Adventist camping world is? And it's a place where it's held. Pastor NJ was there. Was it last year, Pastor NJ?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes. All right. It begins with O. All right.
Oh, the answer has already come in, Pastor Paul, and it says Oshkosh.
Yes, it is Oshkosh.
Actually, we had a special pin that Pastor, the union with Pastor Dan released for Oshkosh. And it was also a special pin that we had for the TED camporee. So you're talking about collecting pins and saying it's coming a lot into the UK. I know one man who's very responsible for bringing a lot of pins, and that is Pastor Dayan. Him and pins are just, I don't know.
There you go. So maybe Pastor Dayan can show us his collection of pins. All right, and they swap them. It's big stuff in America. They swap, they trade, they call it. But you could make a collection. Remember, we're collectors. You can collect badges, scarves, pins. There's no end to what you can collect. Now, I'm moving away from here camping, but my granddaughters love collecting rosettes. These are from their bedrooms, and I got my daughter to send me this picture. They belong to a pony club, and they're in the pony club. You can ride ponies and you can do little games, and they collect rosettes. And look at that collection they've got of rosettes. And I suspect they could tell you or tell me where they all come from. Collecting is so much fun. I asked them, what do they collect? And in cards, it's no longer postcards. They collect something called top trump cards. I've got one here in front of me. And you can get them in animals, awesome animals. You can get them in bugs. There's one in emojis. I didn't know that, in actual fact. So there's many things, many things.
So are you collecting the trump cards, Pastor Paul?
No, I only learned about it this week, Pastor NJ.
I see you have some. So that was.
I went to my local shop and bought one.
Okay.
They only had a Thomas the Tank Engine one. So there you go.
Oh, that's lovely.
All right, now I've only got a few more minutes. How do you get started collecting? Well, the best advice I can give is start with something you're interested in. Now, my first collection was coins, and my dad had a shop, and I collected pennies. These were old pennies before decimal, before 1971. And at the end of the day, he would allow me to swap, and I do say swap because I had some pocket money. And if I saw a coin I hadn't got, I could put a penny in and take a penny out. And I was collecting dates, one for 1900 something and the next one. That's what I was collecting. There are people who go online and they give quotes. Here's this person saying, I started collecting in 1963. Since then, I've concentrated on British coins, but at the same time, my collection has grown with foreign coins like Pastor Dayan does. And the best I can give is to collect what you can afford. Don't overstretch yourself and have a focus for your collection, maybe your country. And then you want to display your collection. Now that's part of my collection. I collect pre-decimal coins, and I haven't got time now to tell you, but you start with a farthing, and then you can go up to a halfpenny, then you go up to a threepenny bit, a silver threepenny bit, or a copper threepenny bit, and you go all the way up. And it was pounds, shillings, and pence. And here's a display that I have, and you'll see the pennies that I was collecting, one for each year. So that was my collection of coins, and I hope some of you might like to collect your modern coins. Now, in my collection, I've got a pound note. You don't see those now, do you? Can anyone?
No.
No one sees a pound note now. They've gone out of circulation. But I have one in my collection. And this tells me something about our life and ourselves, because every pound note, can you see it, boys and girls? Can you see it? It's in the picture. You know, every pound note is different because it's got a serial number on the bottom. You will never get two the same unless they're forgeries, because everyone is different. No two are the same. And you know, that's like us. We're all unique. Every one of us is absolutely unique. Now, this is a fairly old £1 note, isn't it? But did you know it's worth the same whether it's all squashed up and been through the wash or whether it was brand new? It's still worth £1. And that's the same for each of us. We're all unique and we're all worth exactly the same to God. Isn't that true?
Amen.
It's wonderful. And you know, I can tell this is genuine. In the old days when I used to go shopping, the lady behind the till would hold this up and she would have a look to see if she could see a special line, because it would tell her if it was genuine. Well, I can't hold boys and girls up in front of the camera, but you know, we need to be genuine boys, Christian boys and girls too, don't we? And I think the best thing is when we are in word and deed exactly what we say we are. We're followers of Jesus. And the last thing I learned about this, it's only worth £1 because it's got a promise on there. This is a Bank of England promise. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £1. Well, that's because the Bank of England says so. But we have promises in the Bible, and one of your collections could be Bible promises. You could collect Bible promises, write them out, put them in your box. So my collection, I've learned quite a bit. Now I've got to stop, Pastor NJ, haven't I? I'm running out of time. I know.
Yes, I do realize you started late, but I really appreciate how you've tried to catch up with time. And I know Pastor Ivan is waiting, and the Pathfinders too.
I will take just a couple more minutes and I will finish.
Yeah.
You see, I learn in the Bible that collections tell a story. You will find in Luke 15 the story of the lost coin. There was a lady, well, there are 3 stories of the lost. You know, you will have the lost sheep. There were 100 sheep. They had 99, but they'd lost 1. The second is the parable of the lost coin. Your last quiz question, boys and girls, how many coins did the lady have and before she lost 1? How many coins did she have? It tells you in Luke 15, verse 8, I think.
Let's hear that. How many coins? Well, somebody collects coins. Sarah actually is telling us, Sarah Victor Igwe is telling us she collects coins.
Oh, Sarah,
and the answer is coming. It's 10.
Yes, it is. She had 10 coins, but she'd lost 1, and she turned the whole house upside down to find that 1 coin. And the last parable is the lost son. And there were 2 sons, and the father, one went away, was lost, but he searched. And what God is actually telling us is that we're priceless to God, and he searches for all of us, and he doesn't stop until we're all safe in. You know, I lost some of my coins recently, and I was horrified. I couldn't find them because I'd moved house, and eventually I found them. I'd put them somewhere safe, but it was still in a box. So we can learn a lot from our collections. Sarah, if you're there online, next time I'm in Aberdeen, let's have a chat about coin collecting, all right? Because I'm a coin collector too. All right, collecting life. Some of you may go to summer camp. A man I know who became a good friend, he first started collecting at summer camp. He went down to the local beach with a leader, and they did the marine invertebrates on us, the Pathfinders. And he went to the beach, he went to the rock pools, and don't do this on your own, you only do it with mum or dad or with a leader. And he started collecting what was in the rock pools or on the beach. And that led him to a career. He became a teacher, and he taught about nature, and he's taught Pathfinders about nature. It's absolutely for life. So, boys and girls, to finish, have you got a collection? Ask your mum and dad what they collected as children. I guarantee they did. My dad collected stamps, and he gave me some of his stamp collections. And yours, it will be a collection for life, unique, just like you. Now, you've got a worksheet. The worksheet can be done, handed in, and you can write in the answers. And the last thing to do, have fun, enjoy collecting. May God bless you. If we just go back to the main screen, I'll stop sharing. So then I am back, and I've got 2 final things to show you. There is my tartan scarf. So I've got the Black Watch tartan. And for those of you who are from Wales, there in my collection is the because this is a Scottish Welsh camperee. But some of you have got many other scarves, and if you've got them on, hold them up in front of the camera right now and show me what scarf you are wearing. I can see you doing it. Let's have your scarves on display. All right, Pastor NJ is waving the end of his. Can we see lots of scarves? All right, maybe you too will collect scarves. My time's gone. God bless you, boys and girls. Enjoy collecting, and I look forward to maybe chatting with you in Scotland next year, Pastor NJ, at the BUC Camperee. And
yes,
maybe we'll swap a scarf, but we can talk about collecting. God bless.